Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Hi my loves, welcome to my channel. I am Kellen Love. I am a tarot reader, a painter, a poet, a fairy, different things, and I'm so excited that you're here in my time and space and energy. Today's reading is What Makes You Evil. If you've been on my channel, you know that I love shadow work. I love integrating our darkness, our unconscious into the light. So we're, just more aware, more whole, and more loving to our full self. So that's why I do these readings, and especially most of the black background readings, I really want to focus on things that you're unconscious of that are maybe like darker. Usually they're things that we shame or that society or ourselves has deemed as bad, so we kind of want to deny it, or we don't want to look at it. We don't want to either dive into the pain, feel through the pain, or just acknowledge that we're like that. So many people have different sides of ourselves that come out when we're angry or in a sexual situation, or different things that we kind of deny, reject, not accept about ourselves. But really, if you could get in touch with that self, that part of yourself, if you knew about it, you can do something about it. But you can't do anything if you don't know. And so I'm here to just let you know about some things that you might not know. Maybe they're things that society and you deem as bad. Obviously, my goal is to not create any more shame, so I'm here to say it with love and try to say it with sensitivity. I'm not trying to roast you, I promise. My goal is to find the darker parts of yourself, the evil things, and maybe actually see how that could be a benefit to you in a different way. Because if you're unconscious about it, you don't know how to use it, right? Like if you're really angry, but you are unconscious of your explosions or how mad or how hurtful you are, then, it's going to keep getting put under the rug, and you can never actually use that power for good. But if you're unconscious that you have if you're conscious that you have a lot of power and energy, and pain and stuff sometimes, you can learn how to use it in a different way, whether that's to make art or to be more passionate in other ways, or maybe you can funnel it into the bedroom in a safer environment. So you still are getting those energies out, but in a more loving, aware, conscious way. All right? So we're going to dive in. I'm really curious to see how this goes. And again, I promise to say it with love and just help you accept yourself more. All right? Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the work and being brave enough to come on here and see what makes you evil and uncover some of your darkness. All right? Let's get into some juicy shadowness. And yeah. All right? I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I'm going to do a little blessing and prayer to bring in the right kind of energies, of course, and bless the reading and say our gratitude, give our gratitude. And yeah, I love you. All right? Okay. Oh, and then after this, I will do the cards. I'll show you the cards, all right, to pick from. Okay? Dear Heavenly Father and Mother, dear Cosmic Mother, dear the chaos and the order of life and the beautiful darkness, to the energies and entities that are all about love and peace and wisdom, but especially about integration, and those that are willing to go into the darkness and be brave and help us uncover truths and accept ourselves so that we can spread our love to our whole self. Thank you for helping us with integration. For my angels, my guides, my fairies, Kali Ma and Persephone. I invite you into this reading. I ask for blessings, and thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for your energy. Bless my words, bless my viewers, bless my cards and these messages, and thank you so much for being here. In the name of love, amen. Ashe, so mote it be. Let's go. All right, let's figure out what makes us evil. So we have 3 piles to choose from today. The first one is the box. All right. The second one is the womb. All right. And the third one is the mask. Okay, so we have the box, the womb, and the mask. Okay? All right, so I'm going to put the timestamps below and we will just get right into pile number 1, okay? If you chose the box, this is your reading. Let's just get right into it. Okay, I'm going to start with the animal card. Actually, first, let's talk about the box. What I'm getting is that you're evil for not sharing. You might hoard your own energy, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But people might think you're kind of evil for not sharing sometimes. You might really care about yourself and put yourself as number one. And, you know, you take care of yourself. And maybe you're just your priority right now. I'm not going to tell you that being full of yourself or selfish is a bad thing. But people might think that you're kind of evil for taking a lot in life. But you know, sometimes you can't get things unless you take it. I hope in these messages you are discerning to see what maybe you should adjust in your life and what you should accept. I think hopefully you can do both, kind of accept and then adjust. That's usually how it works. You can't really change things unless you accept them. But just because I'm saying these things are evil or whatever, it doesn't mean that you have to change them or you need to. That's up to you. I'm just trying to lay it out there. All right? Okay. Okay. Also, you might really have some walls up. You might really like isolate yourself. That's part of like the not sharing is isolating yourself. And it might just be kind of evil to yourself because you're not getting the love and celebration from other people. And so people want to give you this love and compassion, and they think, you know, like, oh, you're not sharing your energy. And then I think maybe your spirit a little bit is like sad a little bit because you're not going out there and sharing energy either. Your possibilities and potential for collaborations and creations and love and passion to be shared between you and other people, and creativity to be shared between you and other people is there. But maybe you have some, whether it's social anxiety or self-hatred or something like that, it could be keeping you from a lot of fun projects and things, at least just sharing and learning and evolving with your emotions and stuff like that. But you'll never know if you're in your house, you know, and I feel this, trust me, I understand. but you have such a bright light and people really want some access to it. And I think in your spirit really would like some sharing of the energy too. You might be really healing and that's why you need to go into hermit mode, but just know that there's a lot of love and light and creation ready for you when you're ready, all right? So your spirit might be a little mad that you're not out there kind of, collaborating a little bit, and just keeping things to yourself, but you got to put you number one. And I understand that the healing journey, you do have to isolate for a while, but I feel like you have healed a lot, so feel confident that you can go out there and share, and that your spirit would find it very healing. Okay? All right. What kind of creature are you that makes you so evil? What kind of animal are you? What kind of creature are you that makes you evil? Or, I don't know how to word this. It's an animal deck. What kind of evil animal are you? What part of you? I don't know. What makes you evil? Okay. Yeah, you have a lot of untapped creativity. So it might be a little evil to yourself that you're not tapping into that creativity and using it and sharing it, all right? Sorry. Okay, you got the raccoon and the moth. So it's very similar energy. I feel like there's this transformation that really wants to happen, but maybe your sadness, again, or self-loathing or something like deep and dark, about you not accepting something is keeping you really, really dark. And mental health, it does that to us. It really does trap us and keep us down. So I understand this is, again, not at all to shame you. It's just to try to let you know what's going on. The good news is, obviously, is you have all this light. I can see that you're trying to heal, but there's a fear that I'm seeing that's really holding you back from your transformation, from flying to new heights, to being in the light and being with people and creating and stuff like that. This raccoon kind of says it all, and I just get very similar. It's in the dark, and I understand too that it could definitely be a sense of worthiness that you're feeling, unworthiness that you're feeling, and that doesn't make you evil inherently, but when we don't feel worthy and we feel really weighed down by our own thoughts and stuff, then it can leak out to other people, and your energy might come across sometimes to other people. It can happen where then you turn to other people and you view them from a lens of maybe kind of judgment, or like they don't deserve what they deserve. So it could be a sense of jealousy or judgment, or kind of oh, they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that wealth, or they don't deserve that love, or they don't deserve that popularity, or something like that, where you're feeling towards other people kind of malintentions or bad thoughts about or something, because you're hurting, you're in pain, and you're in darkness. And I'm not trying to reaffirm any of this. I really don't want to do that. It's just to bring awareness, right? So if it doesn't feel right, then don't take it. But if it's triggering, I'm so sorry. But the indifference, I feel like, is really what would make you feel like this message isn't for you. But if you're feeling any kind of tug in your stomach or whatever, a heightened sense of emotion or a weight or something, then it could be part of what you need to just discover and dive into. And again, that's kind of what I'm feeling, is this weight that needs to be looked at, that needs to be just put some light on. And usually that means letting people in. Okay, box group. That usually means you have to let people in, because your weight it's just so many lines, right? You wall after wall after wall. And that weight isn't going to go anywhere unless you let people see your darkness, unless you let people see you cry or what you've done. I promise you, other people have done it, and you know, there's forgiveness for everybody. You are forgiven. Absolutely. You have nothing to you don't have reasons to keep holding on to the shame, because it's not helping you move on. And as soon as you do forgive and accept yourself and for what you've done or something like that, you can forgive others, you can release yourself, and you can do better. You know, if shame is in our life because it's trying to alter our actions, and, you know, if it wants us to not make that mistake again or whatever, well, you're not going to do better unless you drop the shame. And, yeah, so this is some shadow work. Hermit card. It definitely was required some meditation and looking within. But if you are so self-reflective and isolating yourself and keep being in that loop or whatever, then it's going to take some meditation and looking from another person or to join you. And you can start that kind of collaboration process and trusting process about letting people in. Energy work like Reiki to clear out your heart chakra, I think would be really, really, really beneficial. If that's something that, if your healing is something that you are interested or able to invest in, I seriously suggest getting some outside help beyond you to do this, because we all need help. We all need an outside perspective, and there's professionals that are waiting and ready to help you to get you to a better place. There's so many people that care about you, that want to see you get into a better place, and the things that you're shaming yourself for or whatever, it's not needed. Okay? All right. I'm going to keep going. I love you so much. All right? You are so lovable. All right. What makes this group evil? Yeah. Wow. Okay. You got the withdrawal card. It literally says withdrawal up there. It's the same thing. People want to give you love. This person is in the back with a cup in its hand, and it's so ready and looking at you, able to give you love, but then you're sitting with what you have with eyes closed, arms crossed and eyes closed, being like, nope. And I've been there, trust me. But yeah, people really want to give you love. There's so much love and passion and creativity that wants to be given to you, but you're closing your eyes to it. Whether that's being in denial of it or just rejecting it because you don't feel like you deserve it, which I feel like is the real root of it. But because of that, you might be kind of harsh to the people that want to give you love. And I know that I've had a lot of difficulty in this past year with people being really sweet, because I've upgraded my life. I've been healing. I'm getting better people in my life. And there's part of my ego that I struggled with so much this year, because I just couldn't I couldn't accept all of the sweetness. I could accept a little bit, but too much of it, I would actually get angry and tell them to like stop, and just get really frustrated and almost aggressive and just kind of mean, because I was frustrated and so mean to myself. I was so frustrated with myself, and because my definitions of love had been so fucked up, there was part of me that just really couldn't accept it. And so it took a while. But I see that the people that want to give you love are patient, and they will wait for that. But just know it's there, and that they deserve some of your love. They deserve for you to open up a little bit, because that's what they want to give you, and that's what the universe wants to give you. Okay? The other thing I'm seeing is that you might be evil is you're not changing your perspective. Same story, right? It's this perspective that you need to stay in the dark, that you need to stay low, that you deserve to be in these hard energies. And maybe they're extreme energies, or they're just really like pessimistic or negative or something. And I see maybe there is some harshness that you're kind of giving out to people because of this, that you're kind of stuck and you're frustrated and things. Again, I understand, and I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to reaffirm anything. Really, I'm trying to let you know that you have the power, you have the ability, and brightness, lightness, love, passion, creativity is here for you. So if you didn't know, now you know. You have a really big heart, and you have so much that wants to be given to you. You just have to know that you deserve to be seen, you deserve to be in the light, you deserve to be loved, all right? And it's just kind of evil because people want to love you. You're just kind of evil because you're not letting people give you love. Like, well, I mean, it's not the worst. Okay. What makes you evil? What makes you evil? What makes you evil? What makes this group evil? What makes this group evil? You could kind of hoard not just your love, but your money too. But I really am getting you hoard like your things and your emotions. And usually when this happens, it's because we think that more isn't coming. So just know that you have so much abundance and you have so much love that's can run through you. And you can definitely just keep giving to yourself, but it's a little evil. Evil. Because you do have a lot. And do you see these 3 cups, you know? It's like people still want to keep giving to you even when you have a lot. That'll always happen. People are always going to be giving to you. You're always going to be receiving. So just know that you might be being a little greedy. But I get it, because if you had to take care of yourself and heal, then you had to store up. Just know that you have enough now. You have more than enough now. And you giving is really going to break down these walls. It's really going to allow more to come in. And you just giving some of that emotions to other people has such a big power potential to create like really beautiful things like community and love and passion projects and just creations of art or whatever. So just know that you have so much abundance and so much like fertility. And I know you might want to think of like staying balanced, like you just need to keep giving to yourself and fortifying your walls for yourself to stay balanced, but you are going to be balanced. Actually, what you need is to kind of shake it up, get a new perspective, and know that money will flow. Actually, more money flows when you go with it instead of just having it come in, you know. Having some come out keeps that flow going like a river. If the river gets stopped up, the water becomes stale. So maybe you've just been becoming a little bit stale with all that you have, but if you give some away, the river flows again, and bada boom, bada bing, we're good. Okay? Okay, it's not so bad. All right? Okay. Let's ask the fairy godmother why she thinks you're being evil. What makes you evil? Hoarding your magic. People, the world, you will benefit so much from sharing it. Sharing your wealth, sharing your internal wealth, your love, your light, your creativity, your ideas, your emotions. Yeah. What makes you evil? What makes this group evil? What makes this group evil? Wish. And again, just because I'm saying it makes you evil, I don't actually think you are. This is just kind of things that you do But anyway, you might not let yourself dream. What might be kind of evil is that how you're not letting yourself get into that inner child or make wishes, or just allowing yourself to kind of be spontaneous, allowing yourself to do something like wild, or I'm hearing reckless abandon, like just letting yourself be kind of reckless, or it's about letting yourself live in a little bit of a fantasy, or shooting for a shot that's not practical or something like that, but just allowing that kind of energy of dreams and fantasy and wishing and just inner child imagination. Not letting yourself get into your imagination is definitely kind of evil to your spirit. You really have this inner light and magic and powers, like healing powers and creativity and emotions, and so many possibilities. So just you allowing a door to open for some of those possibilities will help you not be so evil to your spirit, okay? All right, what makes this group evil? So, keeping yourself in the box when it comes to your identity, when it comes to your healing as well. You might be really, really practical. So that's why you're good with your money, or that's why you're just good with your home or something like that. But the raccoon can get that like that, right? It kind of needs to steal to get things. So there might have been things in the past or whatever that to get your wealth that you might have done that kind of took from other people or whatever. Again, forgiveness. Like, I'm not here to say that you need to feel bad about it. It's that you can and should forgive yourself and switch up your perspective, because look, now you know, or you're aware, you're here, you're trying to get some self-awareness. So yeah, forgiving yourself for maybe anything that you've taken too much of or stolen or whatever, and know that your wholeness and your healing is here for you, and you are so much more than you've allowed yourself to be. Okay? You are keeping yourself in a box and limiting, whether that's like with your appearance, like you're not letting yourself be more bold with your appearance. Again, not letting yourself tap into that imagination and creativity. Also, it could be like sexually, like not letting yourself tap into more taboos because you think that's weird or too much to ask or whatever. You don't want to share that part of yourself. But like sharing our sexual preferences, it unlocks so much because that is such a deep core desire. So allowing yourself to kind of tap into that deep core desire and figuring out what you really want. I see that would be really healing for you. Also, again, with the Reiki thing, maybe you're really hesitant to energy work, or something where, again, it's like taboo, like going, is it hape, or ayahuasca or something like that, or psychedelic, where you might be like against a certain kind of healing, whether it's sexual or drugs or some sort of crying to somebody or whatever, but there's something that you think is maybe either like too strange, too weird, not for you, whatever, too woo-woo, that it actually could be really, really helpful for you, really healing, but you got to allow yourself to do that. Know that you are healing, so you can let people in, and that you are changing, and you are different, and that you are very, very worthy, especially of forgiveness. And your magic and your wishes want to come true. People want to give you love. If you can just open yourself up a little bit, change your perspective slightly, allow yourself to be a little vulnerable, and just give more, because that will really open up your heart and more will come in for you, okay? Yep. And you will really get an upgrade on your healing, really get an upgrade on your identity and your magic and your power and all that you have coming in for you, okay? I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your spirit and your magic and all that you are and that you provide for people. And just know that you have so much more to give. And if you do, it'll just keep the floodgates open and you will be more abundant than ever, more healed than ever. Okay? I love you. Thank you for being here. I have social media and tip jar down below. If you found some value in this, hopefully you can kind of share that value. Maybe this could be a start to the journey of you sharing some of your wealth a little bit, is being generous. But yeah, thank you for being here. I love you. Mwah. Bye. All right, if you picked the womb card, this is your reading. I wanted to give another disclaimer before I got started, and that's I am doing this so that you can accept yourself, so that you can forgive yourself, so that you can grow and all that. And I'm not at all trying to reaffirm any of these things. I'm just trying to bring awareness, and hopefully you can just know that I'm doing this out of acceptance, and that if you're here, you're healing, you're growing. So yeah, acceptance and forgiveness is the only reasons. All right, I just wanted to say that. Okay. So if you pick the womb, sexual manipulation might be why you are evil. Evil. We all have evil parts. We all have darkness or whatever. We are all everything. We are the good, the bad, everything. We are whole. And I'm not saying that you are evil. Guilt is when we feel bad for something. Shame is when we say that that thing defines who we are. And I don't really want to make you feel guilty or shame about anything. Sometimes guilt can be productive, but not at all shame. And I don't want you to think that I am calling your being evil. I just know that all of us are everything, and so that we all have the pendulum. We all have sides of ourselves. The gods, the goddesses, the angels, I'm sure, still have a part of themselves, or they were at least in a darker energy, and you have to go through that to evolve. So yeah, just know that we are all everything, and I'm not calling you evil. I'm just calling these things that you might do evil, and it's all relative, it's all perspective. It is not actually saying that your energy is bad or whatever. I think good and bad are relative, whatever. I'm just helping with awareness. Okay, all right. So you might be a little bit of a siren. You might draw people in with your sexual powers to their death. You might ghost people. People might really fall in love with you, and you might lead them on, tease them, and this isn't really your problem unless you really want to change or whatever. I'm just letting you know, but I don't really think there's anything wrong with it. Unless you really do feel like you've done some harm or something, and you want to change it. Okay, anyway. But you might be a little manipulative with your sexuality, and you might be a little bit sneaky with it. You could be, I'm getting the word deviant, sexual deviant. You might push boundaries. You might really try to make people or test people's anger. You might push their buttons. You might push people sexually. you could, I don't get that this is evil, but you could like bring really new experiences and experimentation to the bedroom. But evil, I'm getting, oh, okay, so it's not only evil to others, but it's also evil to ourselves, is this reading. And how you could be evil to yourself is sexual shame. Because of these things, you know, and it's all kind of the same coin or whatever. But if you have a lot of sexual power, usually that can mean that you have a lot of sexual shame, just because society does that. Society usually puts that on people that do have a lot of sexual power and energy, is that shame. So it just kind of might be kind of evil to yourself about how you're shaming yourself for your sexuality. But I get that there's definitely an innocence when it comes to the very, very core, and I think you can trust that. Just know that it gets a little evil or more dark when we do shame ourselves, and then, you know, if we get defensive or if things go south or whatever in toxicity, that's when it becomes more harmful, especially to ourselves, you know, when we don't know what we deserve, or we're being kind of reckless to fill a void, or just being really dangerous, like maybe you're kind of hurting yourself in these sexual acts or this these experimentation or relationships or something. It might be kind of evil to yourself just because these situations aren't really good for you, and these people might not really care about you, or like maybe just in the past you really hurt yourself because you thought that that was the sexy thing to do, you know, like the beauty is pain, or like BDSM or something, where you were doing it just because you wanted to be sexually desired, but it wasn't safe, or it wasn't, it could have been even a little scarring to your body or your mental or your womb. So there could have been just some things that you kind of have hurt yourself in the name of being sexually desired, or chasing after a sexual desire that maybe wasn't very healthy or something like that. So there's just some like sexual healing that needs to be done in a different way that's soothing. But yeah, all right. Which I totally understand. Okay. So what kind of creature are you? What makes you evil? Makes you evil. So it's again that sweetness. You got the bee. So, you know, it stings people, right? And in the end, when it stings people, who gets hurt the most? The bee. You definitely have a sweetness that really entices people, and honey that brings them in. But when maybe you get scared or something like that, when fear comes into the equation, that's when you could really sting people. You could really say hurtful words because you've been hurt, right? Usually hurt people hurts people. It comes from somewhere. We learn it. It is not worth shaming yourself over, but it is worth knowing about. And that stinging, obviously it's hurting yourself the most, so we want to heal that. And you might really need to forgive yourself. You might need to say sorry to other people for words that you've said, just so that clears out some of the energy in your like stomach and things, like if you have anxiety. But really just allowing yourself to be the creature that you are. And I'm seeing that your innocence really does want to be protected, and so that you can be deviant and you can do all the things you want to do. Just know that you have this innocence about you that really wants and needs protection, and it really wants you to be sweeter too, because you kind of could have been evil by just how you've been like bulldozing your emotions or bulldozing your sensitivity is really what I'm getting, is that you're a very sensitive person, and maybe you've been acting like you're not, like you're really tough, you're really like you like this pain, or that if people aren't treating you right or whatever, that it's fine, or something like that, where you're not really taking care of your inner child that really wants to be nurtured and soothed. Soothing is really the word that I'm getting. And that your body really just wants is some soothing energy, especially when it comes to a partner, relationship, sex. And so just know that you can't keep pushing and pushing and pushing. You can't keep scarring or doing painful things. Like, you'll have to stop and slow down and nurture your inner child and your sweetness and your sensitivity, because you're a very magical and wise creature and very playful. But I don't know if you've been letting yourself play in a less extreme way, like a very simple way, like whether it's just like going to the movies and seeing Buzz Lightyear, or like doing something that just makes you that's just fun, that your inner child would like, whether that's like, yeah, a carnival, or seeing the animals, or something sweet and pure that you don't have to get like super fucked up to go do, and that it's not something super bad or cool that your ego might really like need to show off, but just something simple and fun that would make that very inner part of yourself just simply happy. And so you might be kind of evil because you're denying some of that simple happiness and that simple love and that simple fun that you look so good having. All right. You might kind of, again, it's that whole stinging yourself thing. You might kind of be biting yourself in your own tail when it comes to like sabotaging, and I guess maybe like not accepting some truth, when it comes to, yeah, again, yourself and your healing and who you really are. Like, yes, you're a bad bitch, but you're not only a bad bitch, if that's what you want to be. Yes, you're a magical, mythical creature. Yes, you're rare, and you are sexy, and you are all of these things. But just know that you're also human. You're also one of many, and that shouldn't be an insult. That should actually, it can actually make you stronger. Being part of the whole is what makes us special. Yes, individually, but also you have way more power knowing that you're part of something bigger. So just, it could be some humbling, but really I'm getting acceptance and just knowing that some of your uniqueness really does come from you being normal or regular or whatever. Like, doesn't have to be a dirty or bad word, because we already know you're unique, but there's some simple truths that you can, relate to and all humans with, that might need some like nurturing. Yeah, I just see that there's definitely like protection that needed for your inner child, especially if you're going to do more extreme things, or you're going to be in a lot of darkness. Like, let's say you're in the club scene, or your work environment isn't very healthy or light or whatever. Like, if you're going to be a badass, you're going to be a boss, or you're going to be in the club or the nighttime or whatever, in any kind of dark arena a lot, like I'm seeing like a tattoo shop or something, like if you're going to be in a dark environment, know that you really will have to protect that more innocent, childlike part of yourself, okay? All right, what makes this group evil? What makes this group evil? The animal. Okay, so maybe you do need to let out some sexual energy, and get wild. Again, and that could be part of the innocence thing, is that knowing that, like kind of flipping the script and how you view your wildness. I think like when people think of like flirting or sex or certain things, they always think of like a super grown adult, but there could be something very wild and childlike that goes together. Like being naked, it can be viewed as something very sexual and adult, or it could be viewed as very innocent and just pure. Changing your views to viewing your wild side as a little bit more innocent. And it's not this darker, dangerous part, that it's actually part of your curiosity and creativity. And your creativity is definitely something that I'm seeing wants to be shown more, or that maybe you have some kind of shame or limiting beliefs you have. Like, what's kind of evil is how you're limiting your creativity and, yeah, this wildness, this childlike, this like humanness. Yeah. Okay, how are you evil? You might kind of unload a lot onto people too. You might really, just kind of unload. And you might kind of really put your emotions on other people or blame other people. Or like, let's say you're in a really bad mood, you might really put that energy on somebody else and make it their problem. I'm only saying that because I feel it, or I do it, that this is very telling for myself as well, because all of this is my perspective, and I can't read more than I've experienced, or the extent that I can tap into my own perspective and stuff. So I understand. I do this actually quite a bit, where I'm pissy or whatever. I'm a little brat, and I make it other people's problems, especially my partner, where I make it something that my worries I put on them. And it does come from pain and hurt and stuff, but I make it their issue when it is something that I should be handling on myself. So it could be that you put your happiness or whatever, your moods, onto other people and you kind of make it their burden. But yeah, just know that you are strong enough to carry those things. You are capable to provide for your own happiness. Codependency is maybe less of what we want to do and more like interdependence. But just know, of course, it's human, it's natural. But you are strong enough to carry your own weight. You are strong enough to make yourself happy. And you do have the ability to bring in that sweetness and love and resolution, like problem solving. You have that power. You don't need other people. And you are very capable to solving all of your issues, as long as you're accepting of help and stuff sometimes. But you have the power to do that. Like, even if you do get help, it's about like you owning that power and owning your emotions, owning your responsibilities. That could also be a thing, is like you're kind of putting your responsibilities on other people. Just know that you have the strength to do it. You have the strength to carry and you have the strength to carry your own weight. And you can always accept help, but just know. Alright, so just know, if you're getting your wealth or thinking that you need to get your wealth from anybody else, that's not the case. You have the complete power and energy to create your own life for yourself, your own finances, your own power, your own success, your own, just fertility in life. You have the power to create that for yourself. You also have the power to handle your own responsibilities and burdens and healing. And that's really tough, because we want to sometimes blame other people, or like our parents or something, or put that responsibility on others. Put a lot of stuff on our partners or our family or friends or whatever. But just know that you do have the power to heal. You do have the power to create the life you want to create. And, putting your burdens or blaming or not thinking that you have the ability to carry that weight isn't serving you, because you do. And you carrying that weight, you taking on that responsibility, you understanding that you do have the power and the wealth within, will make you so much stronger, so much more into your potential. And it'll just bring this trust and into yourself. You're proving it to yourself so that you know, can keep your relationships more about love, keep your family for different things, but not having these like weight and ties to them, not giving your power away. And then what also is kind of evil is how you're not taking risks and leaps of faith and trusting yourself. You do have the wisdom and, again, the strength to do it, to get to your goals. So you might be not allowing yourself to be foolish or to be a child or to make mistakes or something. It could be like shaming your mistakes a lot, which is kind of evil, because if we don't forgive ourselves, of course, we just shame ourselves and we get weighed down by that and we can't become better. Or it's a lot harder to. So just knowing that trusting yourself, or the not trusting yourself, is what's evil. So trusting yourself, believing in yourself. Belief is a muscle, you know, it does take time, but you can trust yourself. You do have this potential. You do have this power. So not limiting yourself and not shrinking yourself down. Also, you are worthy of a new beginning. You are worthy of a new chapter, a new life. You have the power to give yourself a new life. You have that power. And not believing it is evil, because you have so much power and life and opportunity for yourself. So you don't want to like belittle yourself. You're incredible. You've got the unicorn. You're rare and magical. And then you got vulnerability and aptitude. So what is so evil about yourself, and it's kind of been a theme, is not allowing yourself to be vulnerable, not opening up, not letting people see you scared, not letting people see you cry, not letting people see you angry or shameful, or all of the negative, dirty energies that you would never want somebody to see. The next step in your healing, how you would get more power and energy and love in your life, is by letting people see that. And knowing that you're worthy of letting people soothe you. And letting, like, she's on her shoulders soothing her. And that's just the theme that keeps coming up, is that you are worthy to getting that relief and getting that soothing and love from other people. But you have to kind of be vulnerable with yourself first, right? And then you got aptitude, meaning the limiting beliefs thing again. It's just kind of evil how you're limiting yourself and you're not believing that you can get to higher heights. And you're thinking that you need other people to do that and they will get you there. No. Your own power and energy and success and talents and wisdom and intellect and personality will get you there. You have all of the abilities, all of the capabilities and power to get you where you want to go, to get you to the level you want to go. You're not an imposter. You are that person. And you believing it will take away some of that harshness that you have towards yourself. But yeah, you have all of the power. But it can be scary, right? And if you just allow people to see that sometimes you are fearful or whatever, that's when the courage steps in. If you don't let yourself feel the fear, you're not really having to be courageous. But to see it, feel it, go through it, and level up, because it's the only thing that's going to happen by you releasing, like crying or letting people see or putting down some of the burden that you've been carrying. It could be how you've been kind of evil is by carrying too much on yourself, where you really need to open up and share people that you've been just carrying too much emotions of other people and yourself and your family and different traumas. It could be familial or ancestor trauma that you've really been carrying, and it's just kind of evil because it's not your burden to carry. And so you might, and that's might be why you kind of put your burdens on other people, is because it really is too much. But know that you crying and opening up isn't putting the burdens on people if they know that that's what you're doing, if they can hold space for you. If you can ask for somebody to hold space for you, then it's different than you just being in a moment of heat and unloading it on them, maybe when they weren't ready or prepared. But you coming in a more calm way and sharing what's going on with your life, in that way, it's not burdening others. It's really actually just releasing it. Okay? Whew. All right, a few more cards. What makes you evil? What makes you evil? Okay, goodness gracious. You might not be letting yourself be romantic. You might be more in the lusty energies. Oh, yep, and then you got sex right here. Sex and romance, Venus. Your sex could be really, really brutal. It could be really aggressive. And it could be that you're just not letting yourself tap into your sexual energy. You could be that you shaming your sexual energy and just in general not letting yourself tap into that. So the brutalness could just be you not allowing yourself to be sexy, or just not allowing yourself to be in your sexual energy, or whatever. But what I'm actually getting is that there's maybe one way you're kind of looking at sex, and that could be kind of lusty, where as your soul, that kind of innocent thing inside of you, is craving more romantic energy. Because I'm really getting drawn to like the black in this card, and that the Venus, she's all around in this like draped pinkness, and she loves that. But then you have this like pain that's kind of coming from this card. So there could be something within sex that's really painful. Like maybe people think that you like it super rough all the time, and so it takes this vulnerability to say, okay, I actually don't like it like that all the time, or I don't like, maybe I like this, but when you apply it to different things in my life, I don't actually like that. So it's kind of just like saying boundaries and saying what you do and don't like, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable by being open and saying what you want, and asking maybe for some more sweetness in your life, or asking for more kink or something that's a little bit more taboo or something, but allowing yourself the space to be weird or be soft or whatever it is that you're kind of not allowing yourself, especially when it comes to romance and sex and things, and viewing, like, allowing yourself to make love and not just like fuck. Okay, what other qualities? Last cards. What makes you evil? What makes you evil? Whoa. So you kind of not observing yourself and you staying very stagnant is just kind of evil to your spirit, because you not being aware of what you really want makes it where you can't ask, or you're not asking for it if you can't ask for it if you don't know about it. And so just you observing yourself more, maybe more meditation, and just really accepting who you really are. And maybe your ego has this identity that's built up, but now you kind of observe you've changed, or you want something different now, and being willing to take that leap of faith and ask for that newness in your life. And just changing it up and getting out of that stagnation. Okay, allow yourself to be vulnerable, playful, innocent, sweet. Take the leaps of faith. Know that you have the power to carry your own weight, but you also can release that weight and open up and share some of your burden. You do not have to carry it all. And if you can release it like that in a more vulnerable, sweet way, then you won't explode or unload on people when you're not meaning to. Because you do definitely have a wild side that wants to be released, but just know that you also have an innocence that really wants to allow its space and energy. Hold space for that as well. Okay? You mythical, magical amazing creature. You're so beautiful and sexy. Allow yourself to have some romance and sweetness in your life, because it definitely is here for you. And you can just go to so much higher levels than you thought. And you won't do it alone, but just know that you have the power within yourself, more than you thought. Okay? I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me share with you. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. All right. I guess I just really want to ring that. Yeah, I have social media and tip jar down below. If you found this valuable, maybe you can share some of that value back to me. But I love you so much. I hope to see you soon. And yeah, have a good one. Okay. All right. Last but not least, if you chose the Mass card, this is how you're evil. And this is such a good card for this, right? Like, oh, you have one side that you show the people, and then one side you stay hidden. And I wanted to give the disclaimer that I kind of gave everybody, is that I'm doing this for acceptance. I'm doing this for healing. I'm doing this so that you can forgive yourself or just become more aware. In no way am I trying to reaffirm or add any shame. So if you feel like that, I say don't watch right now. Come back in a stronger time, because I'm not trying to add to that. All right? This is just to show some love and understanding. Okay? But yeah, definitely you might really have this dark side that you could either act like is not there and just pretend, I'm in my light side, which is hard, because if you're super unaware of this dark side, then it's like, how do you heal it if you're unaware of it? But what I'm really getting is that you're evil to yourself in a way that maybe you're not recognizing how sad you are or how much pain you have inside. Really, that's what I'm getting, is like this depression, and then you're putting on this mask every day for people, or you're putting on this mask and you're just wanting people to see your happy lightness, which is fully yourself too. I'm not saying that it's fake all the time, but it's evil to yourself to not admit how much pain and hurt or sadness, whatever you're feeling. And to put on that mask every day, it takes a lot of energy. And, it's just not allowing people to see your true self, and you can't heal that darkness if you never let it out. All right? Whew. Yeah. You really are a light to other people. And so I get that that's why you would want to share your light so much. And to want to put on the mask so that people see that light. But you're not doing any justice to yourself. It's kind of evil to yourself, because that light needs to be replenished, and the truth is obviously even brighter of a light. Truth and love is the brightest light. And how you are truthful and loving to yourself is by admitting and really sitting with your pain. You really, really are a light to others, but you might be burning yourself out. And that's just what's kind of evil, is that you're not allowing yourself to replenish and be honest and, just recognizing that you're in a lot of darkness and that you do have a bright heart and stuff, but just recognizing it, that you really are in darkness, and or that you have a part of yourself that really is in a more depressed state. You also might be really holding super, super tight to the things that are good in your life, or your goodness, or different things. And it could be creativity. I do this, and so it could be you as well, that you hold on so tightly to some of your projects or your art, or the things that you're just creative or passionate about, or the things you've made because you don't think that more is coming, like more creativity is coming, or you don't think that you could do something that good again. But really what I'm getting is that you're holding on to the goodness of your life so tightly because you think that more isn't coming, and that when you do burn out, then I get this feeling. But just know that you releasing and you being honest with the darkness is what's going to bring in so much more light. All right. What makes this group evil? Oof. This is going to be hard to hear. Selfishness. That's what it is. Just holding on to your resources so tightly because you think that more isn't coming. And especially when it comes to like your light, your creativity, your passion. And then you also got the High Priestess upside down, which in reverse says doubt. Because in upright, it's intuition. So it's you doubting your capabilities, doubting your intuition, doubting your creativity, doubting your power to attract more. And that's why you're holding so tight to your finances, or holding so tight to your creativity, or to your relationships or love, or any kind of goodness and light in your life, holding on super tightly because you doubt that you can bring in more. So it's evil to yourself. And this has been a theme for everybody, has been, for all the piles, has been letting yourself be vulnerable and releasing, kind of breaking down the walls, and your limiting beliefs, releasing some limiting beliefs on where you can go in life. And so I'm getting that that's just kind of collectively where we're at, is that we need to open up, realize that we can do so much more than we think we can, and that holding on super tight is keeping from more coming in. Like that's actually what's causing some of the scarcity or whatever, is thinking that you need to hold on tight. And it's hard, right? Because letting go is difficult, because it takes that leap of faith of more coming in, but it will. And in your power, you are the High Priestess. So you believing that, and I've been saying it, belief is a muscle, I get it, but you have to work it out a little bit. And just knowing, you releasing will bring in more, and then you will be able to trust yourself more, because you can see how that works, how that flow works more. Okay? But it's just a little evil how you're not trusting your intuition and trusting that you have this power and light that's eternal. The only way that it will get burned out is if you do get really, really exhausted and you don't open up to people and share when you are in a darker place. Of course, you can always tap in to your light. That's why I think you have the mask, is because you can pull through and you can pull the light out, and when you go out you can really put on a happy face, but you shouldn't have to do that. It's kind of evil to yourself because it's taking so much. When you have this light source that can come into you very easily, if you just allow yourself to be a little bit more open, more vulnerable, and more trusting in yourself, okay? All right, I love you. What makes this group evil? What makes this group evil? So definitely the scarcity thing. You are this queen or king or whatever. You are able to bring in so much. And your overthinking could really be a problem for some of this. But there's a poverty mindset that's kind of evil to you, the scarcity. And I get it. Like, I know that it's obviously like easier said than done. And there's always reasons of why we are the way we are. And we're all on the healing journey or you're on a healing journey. So you're improving so much on the daily, and Spirit is proud of you. But just knowing that that doubt, and that maybe doubt to Spirit, maybe doubt of connection to your higher self, doubt. What I'm getting is that you have this internal source of light and creativity and passion that you can tap into. It is so much easier for you to tap into it when you're more open and loving towards yourself, and not clenching so tight to what you have. And then are vulnerable about when you are feeling sad and feeling like you can't tap into it or whatever. But you do have this light that can bring in so much. But when you think that you can't, when you think that there's not enough, that's when it cuts off the tap. And it just keeps that inspiration and ideas from coming. So what's evil is just thinking that there isn't always more, and that this isn't just an internal source energy that you can tap into. It's evil because it's limiting. It's evil because there's so much potential you have to share with others that they won't be able to see if you're wrapped so tightly around and not able to share. Also, the overanalysis paralysis, the overthinking is kind of evil to yourself. Your mentality, the negative thoughts, the poverty thoughts, they're kind of evil to your spirit. And I get it, it's hard, but just knowing that leap of faith, and maybe you've been kind of defensive a little bit because of the overthinking, but just knowing that it's not needed, okay? All right. What makes this group evil? What makes this group evil? Wow. Okay, so you're the one that got the siren. You definitely could lure people in. What makes you evil is that you could you could take people's energy, kind of might lead people on, and again, I feel this thing of like you not allowing people to see how dark it gets for you, or how dark you go, and pretending like you don't have this dark side. I don't know why I'm hearing the word bloodthirsty, and I don't even know what that means besides like maybe going after things, like letting your ambition wear you out, and letting your there's this show Big Mouth, and they have a spin-off called Human Resources, where there's all these different creatures like the logic rock and the love bugs and the shame wizard and different things. Well, there's this one called the ambition goblin, and she just pushes and pushes and pushes, and sometimes you need her to get things done. Other times she is making it where you just cannot be satisfied with life, and you can't relax, and different things like that. So I'm getting kind of some of that, but I'm also getting this kind of maybe manipulation or something where you're kind of feeding off others, where maybe like because you're exhausted, maybe if your light is exhausted because you've had to fake it so much so that you keep the peace or the happiness with others, where you're not thinking about yourself. It's kind of evil because you're not taking care of yourself. So you might have to kind of lure people in or take some of their energy or something like that because you're exhausted, or because you don't think that you will have it yourself, or that there's more to come or something like that. You could use your beauty and the smile and the makeup and different things or anything like that as some sort of deception or something like that sometimes. You might really use your sweetness to kind of draw people in, and then they find out how dark you are and they're like, whoa, you didn't let me know. So it just might be a little evil because people might not see, like maybe you're really sad or depressed or angry, or you've got this wicked side, this evil whatever, like energy that people are like, you didn't warn me about that. And maybe not, it's not really this evil energy, it's just this energy of darkness, or maybe more aggression, or you just letting the sadness, or being in this, like, I don't know, like rock and roll part of yourself, or this like just mischievous, deviant, I don't know, thing where it's, they didn't know. People didn't know that you had this side of you. So it's a little evil, how you hide your darkness so well, and you don't, and then when finally people see it, they're like, whoa. Where did this come from? I didn't know you had this. Whatever. And yeah, I just say what integration is all about. What I'm all about here is allowing people, or just kind of mixing the energies together a little bit, you know? If you can bring some more light and understanding and healing to your darker parts, then you will be able to use that darker energy for better uses. And then if you're a little bit more honest to people about having these darker energies, like if you're dating somebody or whatever, be like, yeah, I get depressed, I get aggressive, or I get manipulative, or I get really, really sad, and I get really, like, whether you isolate yourself, or maybe you just get really fearful, hold on to things super tight because, you know, certain reasons or whatever. But if you can just be honest, it would be a little less evil to yourself and others. So they could know about it, so you can know about it, so you can heal it, so they can help heal you, all that good stuff, okay? Yeah, and people might trust you, so you might really want to be careful, because if you are wearing a mask with people that trust you, and then they find out, you know, that it could be something that loses a connection or something. So you just want to be careful, like, if you can be more honest to people about how you are, it's nothing to be ashamed of, especially if you're working on yourself, if you're trying to become more aware, and then you're honest about what you're going through, or your darker side, or whatever. I mean, if you can just be honest, then it's all right. Like, there's nothing to shame. And you can forgive yourself for being in those sad energies or whatever, and then you can move on and heal more too. All right? Okay, what makes you evil? What makes this group evil? Oh. Because of you might being having to put on a mask for yourself so much, you're not letting people perceive you accurately. You might not be perceiving yourself accurately. So people might have this false kind of reality about who you are. And it's just kind of a little evil, because you deserve to be seen exactly who you are, all your flaws, evilness, shadows, everything all together. You are completely worthy of love, no matter what you've done. And I truly believe that. And so just changing your perception on yourself and allowing other people to perceive you differently will really release them that and give you more healing. Because you wear a mask, you might perceive others as wearing a mask too. So it's a little bit evil to yourself and your own relationships, because you might not be very trusting of others, because maybe deep down you know that people might not be able to trust you because you're hiding so much. So then if you look at others, you might think that they're hiding a lot of things. And if they aren't, then you're creating a blockage between you and that connection. And then if you're holding super tight because you perceive, you know, yourself as being poor or something, whether that's in finances or spirit or whatever, then, you know, you're not allowing for the wealth and prosperity to come in for you. So just your perception of yourself and others is kind of harmful, because you might not be allowing yourself to get into deeper connections because you're hiding so much, and then also you might not be getting the prosperity that you deserve because you're perceiving yourself as having scarcity or something like that. Also, you might be feeling really guilty for this darkness. If this sadness or anger or whatever, depression is because of what you've done, the guilt is holding you back, and it could be turning into shame. And so it could be turning into you not just thinking that you did a bad thing, but that you are inherently bad yourself, or that you're half bad or whatever. But you can release that guilt. And if it's guilt because of finances, if it's guilt because, let's say, you overspent, or it's guilt because you're not good with money or something like that, then, and maybe you're kind of stewing in that guilt, just know that you're human, you're not alone. You're definitely not, I don't want to say you're not special in that way, but there's nothing that you couldn't do that wouldn't make you unlovable, and that if you're willing to change, if you're willing to accept yourself, new is ready for you. New is ready as soon as you just kind of open up. And it doesn't matter what you did in your past, because I know that you have learned. I know that you're an overthinker. So you've already thought through this, you've already changed, and I'm sure that you're trying to do better because you're here. So just know that being generous and stuff and collaborating with people will always help. But yeah, letting your guilt holding yourself back, of course, isn't helping you create new narratives. And that's what you need, is a new narrative that's more whole, where you can be more honest, more authentic, and just releasing the shame and the guilt and letting people in will really, really help, so that you can shine your light, and that way you can trust your intuition more, because you're seeing that how opening up isn't hurting you. It's actually activating and allowing you to be more your full self. It's actually bringing in so much because you're open, like if you're closed, things can't come in. But yeah, releasing shame. If you overspent or something in the past, just know that it comes from deserving, believing that you deserve more and that you are worthy of more, and that flow can definitely come in the more you open up and that you believe it, and that money is an energy. It wasn't a one-time thing. So maybe if you spent bad, hopefully you learned a lesson and you can move on. But if you got that money in the past, you can get it now. So especially as you're healing and stuff. But you can't let the guilt or shame close the door on, or you don't want to let that close the door on the prosperity that's waiting for you, because you are very abundant, very fertile, very prosperous. It's just a change in perception. It's just a change in perception, okay? And that takes really looking in the mirror. This woman is looking at herself in the mirror, and she's seeing something so ugly, but she's so beautiful. So just know that the guilt and the things that you feel guilty or shameful about, it really isn't as bad as you think. And you totally deserve the forgiveness. You're not alone. People are here that they want to give to you, and you will be able to give to others if you open up more. Yeah. Okay. What makes you evil? Willpower. Not believing that you have more willpower than you do. Oh, and that's just confirmation. You have so much more, you have so much more willpower than you're giving yourself credit for. You have more creativity and light that's available to you. So you don't have to hold on so tight. And, the overthinking, So just releasing, knowing that if you've already thought about it and you've already understood what the right choice is to do, you don't have to keep revisiting that same situation. It's not going to make it stick more by hurting yourself. It's actually just going to get that rut dig bigger and bigger so that your thinking goes more into that over and over again. But we want to create new paths of thinking, right? New intuitive trust. New trust in your intuition. Okay? What's so evil? What's so evil about you? What's evil? Not trusting your own wisdom and not going with the flow. Okay? You have the power to alchemize your life, and you're not believing that you have that power, that you're the magician, but you are, and you have so much wisdom. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to keep thinking about what you did wrong. Like, you're wise, you're intuitive. You don't need to keep revisiting those things. Forgiveness, opening up, and trusting the flow of life, that you can trust the flow. You can do it. You're not going to make the same choices you did before. They're different. You're healing. So just opening up to the new flow of life. And I mean, you're a mermaid. You got to go with it. And that will come more when you feel more safe within yourself, which will happen when you perceive yourself not so ugly, not so dark. But also that happens when you allow yourself to be seen and to share some of that pain, and just not holding so tight on what you have. All right? I love you so, so much. Trust your intuition, please. You can trust yourself. And just know that your intuition sometimes feels more like a body thing than mental. So trust your body. Yeah. You could be being really, really cruel to yourself, okay? You could really be having a lot of negative self-talk, and this cruelty is what's making this so dark. The cruelty of not thinking that you have more, or that you deserve the guilt and shame. You don't deserve that. Or that you can't trust yourself, or that you can't go with your inspiration or something like that. You can't trust your own advice or wisdom or whatever, your own intelligence. You can, and just... I know it's really hard, but when you feel yourself being negative, really start the practice of stopping that, and also sharing with people these negative thoughts. Because if we just keep them in our head the whole time, it's really hard to bring the light and change. But if you can tell people, hey, like, these are the thoughts I think, maybe you can write them down, or start telling people, like, if you spiral or if you just get into these negative loops, breaking the cycle by speaking it to somebody. And I'm sure then you will see how it can alchemize way easier, and how you will start changing and seeing that that isn't the truth. But until you shed some light, until people can see it, until you allow yourself to be forgiven and accepted, and show people what you're going through. If you're going through so much pain and you're not allowing people to see that, it's just such a disservice. It's evil to yourself, because it's just really painful, and you don't deserve that, okay? You deserve light. You deserve the prosperity that is meant for you, that you are wealth. So it's ready for you. Your intuition is on point. It's just this negativity that's clouding it. And then your authentic self really wants to be seen, and you're going to get so much prosperity from that. If you can just kind of change your perception a little bit, and just trust yourself. You have the power to get through the pain that you're feeling, and you have the power to be vulnerable and show your true self, okay? Your true self is very, very lovable. You are love. You are light, you are prosperity, and you don't have to be so strong all the time for everybody and put on that brave face. You can allow people to see your darkness, and that will actually upgrade your strength, upgrade your intuition, upgrade yourself so much, because it's actually one of the bravest things you could do. Okay, I love you so much. I'm so thankful for you. I'm sorry for the pain that you feel, the darkness that you're in. Just know that I see it, I feel it, and yeah, you're just deserving of to be cared for and to be seen for your whole self, not just the self that you want people to see, okay? I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I have my social media and tip jar down below. If you'd like to give a tip or something, maybe put some black hearts down below if you resonated or if you picked this pile, okay? I hope to see you again soon. I love you so much. Go watch a good video. Go watch What Makes You Gorgeous or something. But yeah, I love you, okay? Bye.